Check, 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 check. Can I get a 5x5? Thank you. All right. It is the 15th of October, 2025. I did not do a brief this morning because we've been incredibly busy on this end. We may talk about what and why we've been incredibly busy on this end. But suffice to say, if you're driving down the road and all of the warning lights on the dashboard of your vehicle are blinking, that's what we call an indicator. And I'm here to tell you from a societal standpoint, all of the warning lights and the indicators are blinking. And we're going to zoom out just a little bit today to a strategic level and talk about what any of this means. Rather than get stuck in the operational and the tactical and get wrapped around the axles on, did you see this piece of news content from this media outlet? Yeah, all that's narrative, all that's intentionally crafted. Is done in order to create what's called cover for action, to explain away the overt actions that are taken that is above the threshold of detection, the story, so that they can explain why things are happening. But the why that you and I are given is never the actual reason. Or if it is, it's only a little sliver of the actual reason. And almost nothing happens for one reason. It's dozens and dozens and dozens of reasons typically. So with that, everything that's been happening here in the world, things that I am aware of, both, we'll just say, public and private things, high side and low side things, have caused me to take a good hard look at my own preparedness, my plans, my preparations. And I've been doing this for 20 years. And now I know a lot of y'all have not been doing it for 20 years. Some of y'all longer, but a lot of y'all have not. I've been doing this for 20 years, 8 of which has been on camera with y'all. And I am feeling the urge to make sure that my poop is in a group, my ducks are in a row. And we will know fairly soon how serious things are going to get. And these are breadcrumbs for those that have ears to hear and eyes to see. We will know pretty soon what the timeline looks like, be it the next 15 to perhaps 18 months, maybe 3 years. I think 3 years is very optimistic. Because of the acceleration of the timeline, because of how busy we are and how effective we have to be with the limited amount of time that we have here on this side of the camera, and also the season of life that I'm in as a father and as a husband, I don't have time to answer really basic questions right now. I have read with y'all every word of the New Testament on camera and most of the Old Testament on camera. So if you have a Bible question, go watch those videos. YouTube search bar, Bear Independent. They're all there. Bear, what do you think about Colossians 2? Go watch that video. That's what I think about it. Basic preparedness. How to put food in buckets. Which food to put in buckets. How much food do I need? How much water do I need? What's an area study or combo planner? All that. It's Prepper Classroom. It's free here on YouTube. Go watch those videos. They're free. Go watch them. Because the days of what polymer frame striker fired 9mm pistol should I buy have come and gone. There are things far more important to be concerned with. Perhaps you may have seen the new series that we're doing, the civilian resistance operations videos. Why do you think that is? Put that in context with the bigger picture. Why do you think it is that I told you to read Resistance Operating Concept by Otto C. Fiala, first recommended to me by Pastor Joe Fox of Viking Preparedness? So what are the words I'm trying to say here? If you're not getting prepared yet, you should be. Now, I can tell you with low to medium confidence, 20% chance that this thing goes hot, and it goes hot in a big way, probably in the next 15 to 18 months. I can tell you with very high confidence, 80+%, that it goes hot in the ways that I have described to you previously. For those that are not paying attention, what are those things previously that I've described to you? If I was the bad guy, I'm taking out the United States grid. Why? And it's not going to be a nuke. It's not going to be an EMP, because you nuke things you want to deny to your enemy, not that you want to occupy. When you EMP stuff, you break it. Okay. So there's persistent and ongoing 0-day exploits. What does that mean? Everything's hacked. Everything's been hacked. There's no way to fix it. It's compromised. What do you mean by everything? I mean everything. All of it. That has nothing to do with Stuxnet and PLCs, programmable logic controllers, Siemens PLCs, which are also busted. We're not going to get all the way into the weeds on this, but suffice to say, you don't have to break the grid to take it offline. And you only need 5 to 7 individual nodes on the grid in order to have what's called a cascading grid failure. Why would I do that? Because there will be no municipal services. The Department of Energy did a white paper 5-6 years ago. 90% of Americans die in the first 12 months of no grid. There are 5 people alive in North America that know how to cold start the grid. Balance line and load, analog, not digital, with no commo. 5. 90% of people die. Why? Because the average municipality has 36 hours of water on hand. Without electricity, they can't pump more water into the water towers to get the hydraulic pressure to push it through the pipes. The sewer treatment plants stop working. Refrigeration stops working. Gas stations stop working. Fuel can't be pumped, so there's no transportation. Hospitals don't run, so there's no higher medical care. EMS, fire, law enforcement can't coordinate because there's no communication, because there's no electricity. Everything goes to hell in a handbasket. So that's what I would do. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Now there's rumor, completely unconfirmed, but there's rumor that something big, say a catalyzing event, is supposed to happen within the next week. I don't know. I can't speak to that. However, again, a low to medium confidence, 20% sure in the next 15 to 18 months, things could look drastically different than they do. Now, that doesn't mean that it's gonna happen, but if you had a 2 in 10 chance of getting mugged the next time you got out of bed, your life would probably look a lot different than it does right now. Which leads me to, what am I seeing on my end? Everybody and their brother is scavenging medical equipment. Now, I talk about medical equipment not just because I own Refuge Medical, but because I own Refuge Medical, I'm aware. I have my pulse on that community, on that infrastructure, from manufacturing to distribution to product penetration in the markets to who's buying what. I'm very familiar with all of that. That's my job. That's what I do. And so I see that. And again, it feels weird. It feels like COVID did, like Ukraine did when it first kicked off, like Israel Hamas when it first kicked off. It feels very weird right now. Lots of people buying lots of stuff, lots of big quotes for incredibly large orders going out. And I'll just say this, our government is preparing for war, both domestically and internationally. Trump recently let it slip. We'll be fighting an 8-front war, folks. 8 fronts. 8 fronts? Well, one of those fronts is here. And that's what I want people to understand. And it's not nukes and EMPs, because that breaks stuff. It's people who are already here. People that previous administrations have let through. People that have been laundering funds in this country for decades. Every time there's a violent domestic extremist, the FBI has their famous line, "He was on our radar." Yeah, well, the FBI has 4,000 domestic terror cells, cell being 4 more people, 4,000 domestic terror cells on their radar. Uh-huh. And then hundreds of thousands, if not millions of others that have come across our porous border that are planning to come across our northern border and our southern border. Think about why would there be such a large push to deport via ICE so many people? Because many of these people are not good people, and they're not just low-level gangbangers, okay? Why declare Antifa a domestic terror organization? It's not because the blue hairs who are marching on the streets of these major cities are an existential threat to our democracy, our representative republic. It's because they're the useful idiots. There's something larger at play here. And when you do that, you now have cover for action and pre-positioned troops around the country. Granted, 200 here, 300 there. That's not a lot, but it's a foothold. It's a start. We also talked previously about the National Guard establishing 2 bases, one in Appalachia, one in the Rockies, in order to essentially have QRFs, quick reaction forces, to be able to move around the country as needed. And there's a lot of stuff here on the high side that I can't talk about, but it's ugly. It's ugly and it's gonna go quick. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Why is the United States Navy blowing up little tiny boats in Venezuela? Well, ask yourself, who else has little tiny boats? What is the United States Navy's largest navy in history on planet Earth, the largest expeditionary military to ever exist on planet Earth? What is their track record like with small boats versus big ships? Not great. So why not get some reps and sets down in Venezuela and accomplish 2, 3, 9 things at the same time on targeting small, fast-moving ships? Maybe pressure test the protocols and the technologies before they're put to test for real. So, as mentioned, we have a Bible playlist here. If you have biblical questions, watch that. We have a prepper classroom playlist here. If you have prepper questions, watch that. If you're on Patreon, watch all the content there. It's $10 a month, and it's the best. The best in-depth, long-form answers to your very specific questions. Now, the big 3 that I want to impress upon you today is you need to know the creator of the universe, and he needs to know you. And it's not enough for you to know him. He's got to know you. There needs to be a relationship there by the blood of the Son. Because all your preps in the world don't matter. What use is it that a man gains his life but loses his soul? So, if you haven't talked to Dad in a while, talk to Dad. If you're too stubborn or pissed off or hurt or wounded, you just don't have the words, cool, suck it up, Buttercup. Talk to Dad. You need to train, and point 2, you need to train and you need to train your body. Many of us are already doing the things. We live on a homestead, off-grid, semi-off-grid. We're already training. We're going to be doing a lot more of what we're already doing, potentially in a relatively short period of time. And that's going to be very physically intense compared to sitting in a chair at a desk talking to a microphone on the internet or riding around in your semi-truck or whatever it is you do for work. It's labor intensive. So you need to train all of the things. but you also need to train your body. And you need to do that now. None of us is going to be too fast, too fit, too strong, too limber, too resilient if this thing goes hot. And you need to prepare for whatever might come. Preparedness is biblical. The prudent man foreseeth evil and hideth himself. Proverbs. Hideth himself from the threat that he cannot overtake. Joseph, Noah. Luke 22:36, he who does not have a sword sell his cloak and buy one. You need to prepare. You need to do the things. Hopefully, which hope is not a method, but hopefully we never need them. And the most likely threat is weather events, storms, hurricanes, tornadoes, fires, floods, job loss, injury, the economy. And basic preparedness covers a whole wide host of threats. You need to be doing the things while you can. Now, I get the question often is like, is it burn up the Amex card time? I don't know. That depends on who you are. I know that the dollar's lost 10% of its value this year, and the average checking or savings account has a return of 3.5 to 4.5%. So my wife and I just moved money out of savings where it was earning 4%, 3.75 to be exact, into silver. That's us. You don't have to do that. But silver's short taken off. Okay. I can spend the silver in a pinch if I need to. It's physical. Never goes to zero. So I don't know if it's burn the Amex card time or not. That depends on how much money you have and how much debt you have. And I'd say probably not for most people. It's not burn the Amex card. I also want to tell you this. While it is an honor and a pleasure to serve y'all, you cannot be dependent upon me. You should not be dependent upon me. Number one, I am not God and I am not God made flesh. I am just a man. And it's just a matter of time before I let you down, because I let me down all the time. I've seen me do it. Number two, what happens when I'm gone? This thing that we're talking about is bigger than me. It's bigger than us. It's not bigger than the Most High, but it's bigger than all us little people. It's bigger than the Bear Nation. What happens when I'm gone? Don't depend on me. Learn from me if you can. Learn from my mistakes, please. It's the whole point of this channel. I'm honest with you so that hopefully I save you some pain and heartache and money, blood, sweat, and tears. But see, there's a whole bunch of people in this Bear Nation here that have felt the calling of the Most High, that have heard his voice. Prepare ye the way of the Lord. And the woman fled to the wilderness to a place prepared for her. Okay? If that's you, great. Welcome. If that's you and you're not doing it, Dad's going to kick your ass. But that's between you and him. It's not between you and me. So what happens when I'm not here anymore? What happens when I'm so busy trying to just maintain normalcy for the people that I love that we don't get to do this anymore? Or this platform goes away? Then what? So, my brothers and sisters, it's time to get off the milk and get onto the meat if you haven't already. I'll leave you with this. I would strongly encourage you to think about, if something pops off, where are you going to go? Now, you should already know the answer. It's a low population density area, not a high population density area, because resources are consumed in high population areas. They're not produced. And when resources are contested over, good people die. So where are you going to go? And if you're already there, great. Where are you going to go if that place becomes untenable? When are you going to go? What are your indicators? I'll give you a freebie. If we lose power and we lose comms at the same time, that's an indicator for me. That's a big indicator for me. So when are you going to go? What are your, as they call them, bug out indicators? Or enact security protocol Zulu, if then. What does that look like for you? How are you going to go? What does your mobility look like? Remember those 0-day exploits? Vehicles that don't have computers in them, or at a minimum, don't do over-the-air software updates, are preferred. Stomp, 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 stomp. So how are you going to get to where you need to go? With whom and with what are you going? If you know where you're going, you should have as much stuff there already as you can. So you can hop into the truck with your gym shorts on and a pair of flippies and just drive. We just did Sukkot. A family, extended family of 8 people, 10 days in the woods. It's a lot of stuff. Takes a little bit of time to load up and go and set up. Takes a little bit of time to break down and go again. So with whom and with what are you going? For how long are you going? And as Pastor Joe would say here, contemplate the unthinkable. Most people think up to their level of preparedness. I'm prepared for a month, therefore the event will be a month long. It will be. It'll be a month long for you because that's all the preps that you have. And then you'll be a statistic. So how long? Now, I'm willing to look crazy to y'all. I've been willing to look crazy to y'all for a long time, and I've caught lots of heat from lots of other people and lots of other channels for it, and I don't give a shit. The Father told me 7 years. Now, if he didn't tell you 7 years, that's okay. He told me 7 years. And what I don't know is if it's 7 years for one family or 3.5 years for 2 families or 6 months for 14 families. I don't know. He just told me 7 years. Cool. It's my job to listen, to obey, to act on what he tells me. So I don't know what it is for you, but for me, it was 7 years. And that's food, water, shelter, security, communications, power, all the things we talk about in the prepper classroom. And here's the last question. If you have to go, will you go? We are being given an opportunity to improve our obedience to the Spirit. And again, hopefully, a year from now, you guys and girls all go, hey, Bear, remember when you made that video, 15 October 25? Remember that? You're crazy, man. You're full of it. Look at how wrong you were. Ha, ha, ha. Cool. I'll stake my entire credibility on this. I feel it. I see it. I see the potential for it. This is significantly more existential to me than COVID or Ukraine or Hamas or 9/11, being perfectly honest. So we've been given an opportunity to improve our disobedience or improve our obedience now so that we're not disobedient then when the time comes, so that we know what that unction of the Spirit feels like, so we know what his voice sounds like. My sheep know my voice and I call them by name. Excuse me, I am not slept a whole lot lately. I've been up working on DARPA stuff. That's high side stuff I can't talk about. But I can tell you, your Department of Defense is incredibly concerned about a lot of things right now. And they have incredibly accelerated timelines to prepare for war abroad and at home. And if they are preparing for war abroad and at home, I can't help but think that we should do the same. Again, my confidence level that this comes to pass is about 20% right now. It's not 50, it's not 80. It's never 100. But it's not 50. It's not a coin toss. It's not 80 imminent. It's 20%. But if I knew the next time I went to Walmart I was going to get mugged, I had a 2 in 10 chance of getting mugged next time I go to Walmart, my life would look a lot different, wouldn't it? So my assessment is we got about a 2 in 10 chance right now that this thing gets hot, and it gets hot. Everything, everywhere, all at once. 8-front war. Because that's how you take the United States of America. It's the only way. We got 22 aircraft carriers. Russia has 1. China has 2. One of them is a fishing ship. France has 1. The Charles de Gaulle, and it's a piece of shit. Britain has 1. We have 22 of them. So how do you get us? Everything, everywhere, all at once. And if that comes to pass, it's going to get ugly quick. I don't want that for you. The intent of this channel is the preservation of life. It's called Bear Independent because the goal is to be as wildly independent of the broken, fragile system as possible so that when it fails, we don't fail with it. And I'm saying these things to you because I have the conviction to say them. I am operating in the conviction to do them myself. And I don't want bad things to happen to good people. So as we see these things that continue to come to pass, zoom out, think about it strategically. Don't get caught up in all the details, all the talking points. Although there's no way Charlie Kirk's neck stopped the 30-06. Who cares? Who cares? What bearing does that have on you? Zoom out. Why? Why did that happen? Not necessarily how or who, but why? Why does Trump want 600,000 more Chinese on our soil? Dead man switch? Leverage? Buying favor with Xi? Because all the supercomputers right now says there's no way that we win that conflict. So we need time. Why? The acceleration on the timeline on the Golden Dome. Why increasing surface-to-air interceptor missile production 10x for the homeland? Why blue roofs on military installations? Why DARPA's OSINT, medics autonomously stopping hemorrhage? Why? And I wish I could tell you the high side stuff, but I can't. So I won't. I'll just tell you the low side stuff. There's enough breadcrumbs that you can follow them and figure it out. And don't get caught up in the noise. Just do the things that matter. I'm not trying to doom report you. You guys know that if you've been here for any length of time, you know that. We don't do that here. I just try and tell you it's straight, tell you the way I see it. And I have had these conversations with my brothers and with my congregation before I've had these conversations with y'all. So, yeah, I take it seriously. That's it. Share the show. That's how we grow. And if you need anything, if there's anything we can do for you, holler at us. refugemedical.com. You guys know the drill. I also think it's the last day for donor matching at Caleb House today, midnight. So if you're into that, the Spirit Convicts, go check that out. That's it. That's the plugs. I'll see y'all when I see you.